You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. Go. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Go. Don't waste no time.
So, for our American listeners, you guys have Gatorade, if I believe correctly. And I said the other day that in the UK we have something called Lucozade. So I just finished playing football, or as you guys call it, soccer, and I had my Lucozade. I know we're not sponsored by them, but
Yep.
So you got Lucozade Sport. It comes in a still variety and a fizzy variety. So this is the fizzy one, raspberry ripple, but there's loads of different flavors. There's orange, there's like tropical, there's loads. So for if you ever see what everyone like to during the World Cup, everyone might be drinking Lucozade, probably from either something like this or a bottle. But enough about my drinking habits when playing sports. It's been a weird Sunday. Obviously, no football for the Miami Dolphins. But it feels like we are the topic of conversation for the NFL. And yeah, before we really delve into that and you know what we've missed over the past few days, Charlie, how are you?
A lot of traveling, bro. A lot of back and forth. It's been a exhausting past 4 or 5 days. Shout out, and I'm pretty sure it's been exhausting for a lot of Dolphin fans too. Like shout out to Sheena, one of our listeners. She hit me on Facebook, which I'm never on, by the way, and she said something to the effect of, "It's been so hard to digest all of the national media on Tua and the Dolphins, in the aftermath of the hit and what people call scandal and all the good stuff." And then she said our podcast was the only thing she was able to listen to. Shout out to Sheena. We rock with you. We appreciate you. I rock with you for sure. It's Go Time Dolphins, Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond but across the world. I'm your boy Charlie Touche. Got my co-host Kadeem Simmons with me. It's always for the fans and by the fans. Your favorite podcast. Kadeem, man, I had all kind of takes because we were supposed to record yesterday, right? And then I kind of wanted to record on Friday again. And then, let's just try to record on Saturday. Like, bro, I had so many takes, but I'm glad that we waited because I probably would have been talking out of it, like, and emotional. You know what I'm saying? But what do you make in the aftermath of everything now that we're a couple days removed now?
I was chatting to a friend of mine, and I openly said maybe I'm naive. Maybe I was given the Dolphin the benefit of the doubt. I don't listen to anything Joy Taylor says 99% of the time, but something she said over the past few days, and I kind of agree with her. She basically said in the build up to the Bengals game, no one was talking about Tua's concussion. No one. It was about Tua against Joe Burrow, the first time since LSU v Alabama in 2019, all this kind of stuff. And she says, after Tua got injured, everyone started going, "Oh, but he shouldn't have been playing," all that kind of stuff. And she said, no one said that in the build-up to the game. Now, clearly, she's not listening to Go Time Dolphins, but she will be shortly, because in Go Time Dolphins, me, you, and DraftKings Jason, I asked both of you, do you think Tua should play on Sunday? On Thursday. And you said no. You were like, I don't think he should play. I was like, if he's passed the concussion protocols and he's deemed fit enough to play, then let him play. And obviously, there's been so much around it. People have lost their jobs over it. I think I'm still at a point where if the Dolphins done everything by the book, then I'm not going to blame them for what happened. And I genuinely believe that Mike McDaniel and the Miami Dolphins coaching staff wouldn't have put Tua in a position where he was going to endanger himself. Does that mean they could have handled it better? Yes. Because maybe they should have said, you know what, actually, doctors have said you're fine, but it's a short week, Thursday night football. Yes, we want to win, but we're going to sit you out. We're going to give you the extra week and a half rest, play the Jets. But that's with the the benefit of hindsight. I'm sure if they could go back, they do something differently. Ultimately, as a lot of people on social media have said, everyone on Twitter is now a neurologist. They've clearly been to medical school. They know more about brain injuries than all these doctors. So who are we to disagree with them? What do you make of it all?
Kadeem, I was about to say if I was a betting man. Turns out I am a betting man. You know I'm a betting man, Kadeem. And I would bet every dollar that I have that Go Time Dolphins is the only Miami Dolphin podcast that has an annual CTE awareness episode on their podcast. I would bet everything I have that Go Time Dolphins is the only Miami Dolphins podcast that has an annual CTE awareness episode every year. When we had our CTE episode, Kadeem, bro, everyone knows I love football, bro. Everyone knows I played football since I was like 4 years old. My furthest memory goes back when I was a quarterback of a flag football team, and I still remember the Super Bowl that we played in. And then I had friends on this podcast that played, and we won championships and all kind of stuff. And I sat right here on this podcast and told everyone, if there was a way that if the NFL ever said, hey, we figured it out, we cracked the Da Vinci Code, we know how to eliminate and remove all concussions out of football. However, it's going to take 4 years. Last time I said 2 years. Hey, it's going to take 2 years. Bro, as much football that we consume, bro, and as much as football has owned the day of Sunday in the fall, I don't care about 4 years of not having football. Like, football would have to take a break, and they would need to figure out how we can have 20 and 30-something-year-olds entertain us without putting their lives in jeopardy and their long-term health in jeopardy. You feel me? So, but that's not reality. Reality is they don't have a solution for concussions, and it's just not realistic. That being said, Kadeem, I hate the Patriots, bro. So much, bro. I hate the Patriots. The former quarterback of the Patriots, ruined my adulthood when it comes to sports, entertaining and enjoying sports. You feel me? The coach, Belichick, is a cheater. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, y'all can't get credit. You can't go down as the best quarterback ever if you have tarnished, if it's tainted. You know what I'm saying? You cheated numerous times. The coach cheated numerous times. It's all tainted. Y'all can't go down. You can't go down as the best coach ever. You can't go down as the best quarterback ever. You can't. You might. The quarterback might be able to go down as the most accomplished quarterback ever. Okay, I might give you that. Most accomplished, sure. You can't go down as the greatest all time if everyone was cheating all the time. And the crazy thing is, y'all didn't have to cheat. And I'm gonna say that y'all didn't even have to cheat. Bill Belichick, bro. Crazy. I love Bill Belichick though as a coach, as a coach of a football coach, right? Like I appreciate him as a football coach. I just wish he didn't cheat, and I can't like him like I want because he's in our division. But Bill Belichick said, "What do you want me to do? You want me to hold up the MRI and see what's going on with McCorkle Jones? You know what I'm saying? What do you want me to do? I do what the doctor said. The doctor said the doctor said they'll let me know when he could play. So when I found out if he could play, I will play him. That is it. Y'all want me to go behind the doctor and pick up an MRI and say, hey, what's going on here? What do you think about that? Basically, in a nutshell, that's what Bill Belichick said. For everyone in the national media that was like, oh, the Dolphins failed Tua. McDaniel doesn't care. They were talking about how Mike McDaniel said it's just a concussion. And I remember we talked about it in real time. And my words on this podcast reiterated McDaniel's. And I said just a concussion, but that's not what McDaniel said. McDaniel said it's nothing more serious than a concussion. Nothing more serious than a concussion. It's not like he downplayed it and said, oh, it's just a concussion. He didn't do that. He said it's nothing more serious. I think he might have even said, thankfully, it's nothing more serious than a concussion. You know what I'm saying? So everyone wants to grab something, bro. Like you said, everyone got they doctorate, bro. It's crazy. They out here diagnosing stuff on social media. So I need everybody to get off McDaniel. He didn't say it's just a concussion. He said it's nothing more serious. Thankfully, and it is thankfully, we're thankful that it's nothing more serious than a concussion. We're thankful that he has usage of all of his extremities. You know what I'm saying? We're thankful that it's not a neck injury or a back injury or he's not paralyzed. You know what I'm saying? So it's nothing more serious than a concussion. Josina Anderson. Hey, we gotta give y'all credit. That's what y'all want, right? When we cite people, we should say who it is. Josina Anderson on Twitter is like, why did the hospital release him?
Yeah.
Like, how is it possible that the hospital could release him so soon? Hold on, here it is. Why is Tua being released from the hospital so quick?
And it was like one of the lead hospitals in terms of like head trauma. So it's not like he went to some random 24/7, where the doctor has been discharged multiple times for all this kind of stuff. He went to probably the best place he could go to. They checked him out and said, you're okay to go home. And everyone like, why is he going home so early for? Maybe because the doctor said, dude, you're good.
Bruh, Stephen A. Smith, how was he cleared to fly home on a plane after a concussion? Like, bruh.
Yeah.
Technical difficulties. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the screen is a little different now, but we're gonna muscle through this, bro. So Josina Anderson, Stephen A. Smith, Mr. Medical Professional, when are you gonna clear him to fly home on a plane? Right, Kadeem? Like, since with all of your knowledge of your medical history and you being in, the ESPN neurologist, resident neurologist, Stephen A. When do you clear Tua to fly home? Josina Anderson, when do you clear him to leave the hospital? Since you know better than the hospital knows when to let him leave the hospital. I don't know. What we doing here, Kadeem?
Did you see? So Dolphins fans over the past 6 months, anyone that's attacked any player, especially Tua, they've gone back and said, well, what about this and all that kind of stuff. Have you seen or have you noticed the lack of reporting that T. Higgins has got this season? T. Higgins looked like he's received at least 2 concussions. And even if you say, well, that was all that time ago, did you see the JJ Watt stuff this week?
I heard about it. Very little about it. Very little.
Exactly.
Something about somebody leaked something or something.
JJ Watt came out and basically said, it's going to get leaked, so I'll say it now. On either Wednesday or Thursday, he's and I want to get this right. He had to have his heart shocked back into thing. He went into AFib. Heart stopped. Had to get his heart started again. Played on Sunday. I've seen nothing. The dude literally died trying to play on Sunday. Probably because doctors cleared him and, okay, cool, whatever.
Probably, right?
But again, where have all these doctors gone? All these or are they? And the thing is, I don't want to be I don't want to be that person. The whole keep up the same energy and all that kind of stuff. But I think it's fair to look at the Tua situation in a bubble over here, but also look over here. And there's been like people brought up when Kiko Alonso knocked out Joe Flacco a couple of years ago, and Joe Flacco played like 10 days later. Joe Flacco was knocked out cold. He was fine to play. T. Higgins, like I said, has suffered probably 2 concussions this year. Fine to play on Thursday Night Football. And JJ Watt went into AFib, had to get his heart started. Days later, fine to play on Sunday.
All right, so I want to be clear. It's not that we're talking about, it's dangerous and whatever people are going to play or when do they play. We're not talking about that. We're talking about at what point do you say as a Miami Dolphins coach, okay, I can play this player? At what point do you say that? Do you say, and to Kadeem's point, Hunter Renfrow suffered a concussion in week 2 and still has not been cleared to play yet. Yeah, suffered a concussion in week 2 and probably won't be cleared to play until like week 5. And then week 5 is coming up. So it's like week 6 maybe. Hey, that's a long time, bro. T. Higgins suffered a concussion week 1, played 6 days later. All right. So Tua's injury, whether we'll call it Tua's Bills injury for the sake of differentiating the concussion on Thursday and the injury during the Bills game. Kadeem, you ever had a concussion?
No.
Do you like? Are you sure you never had a concussion, or like, you know what? Nah, I'm pretty sure I never had a concussion.
I'm sure I've never had a concussion. I've
All
never.
Right. No, because this wasn't a trick question. I was
Yeah. You know, and the thing is, soccer has a concussion issue as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been lucky enough that I've never hit my head, you know, in anything where it's like I've even had a suspected concussion. I've never. So I can't sit here and say I done this. So no, I haven't. No.
All right. So I've never been diagnosed with a concussion. I'm pretty sure I've had maybe like 3, 4, 5 of them. I'm not gonna lie to you, because there were some times where, all right, there was one time I was on a baseball field, got hit in the head with the ball, woke up, and they were slapping me like, "Hey, wake up! All right, I was out of there." You know what I'm saying? What happened, right? Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that was a concussion. I was not diagnosed with a concussion. I don't know if the doctor did say, "Hey, you got a concussion," but we're just 2 dudes on a podcast. To my knowledge, that's a concussion, right, Kadeem?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So I'm on a football field. This is a different incident, and this is probably like maybe 4 to 6 years apart from each other. I'm still a child. I'm on a football field, and I got blindsided. Bang! And I got knocked down, and my eyes were open, and I seeing spots, like real spots. You know how they say you seeing stars? And it was like spots, and it was kind of black, and it kind of came, my vision came back. I would like to think that was a concussion. I think that's a concussion. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what a concussion is, right? Let me ask you something, Kadeem. And this is not for your medical expertise at all, because we're just 2 dudes on a podcast. Bruh, there are doctors and specialists and neurologists that are assigned by the NFLPA, you know what I'm saying, that cleared Tua to come back to play on that Sunday against the Bills. They cleared him. You're good. No concussion, right? Whether they got fired a week or 2 later or whatever the case may be, if you are the coach of a football team and you may have you've seen more things that look like a concussion, at what point do you say, all right, we pay people to tell me as the head coach who can go and who cannot go? So if someone clears a player to come back and said he's good, if you're the head coach and you say, nah, you're not good, or nah, I don't believe it, or whatever the case may be, now we're going to hold you out another week. Where do you draw the line? You know what I'm saying? Do you say, well, the neurologist cleared you, but I'm going to hold you out for 2 weeks now? The neurologist is still going to clear him 2 weeks from now, a week from then, a month from then. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think it's, bro, I never seen In all my years, Kadeem, not just football, all my years of sports, of a fanatic, of being a fan of just sports in general, I've never seen, bro, never, ever, ever, ever seen one player get so much undeserving vitriol, bro. So much national coverage on one player. I've never seen it ever in my life, bro. Ever.
I think, and to what you said, and again, I was speaking to my friend Tom. We had the discussion, and he was like, even if the doctors cleared him, do you not think and I'm paraphrasing what he said, but like, do you not think the Dolphins should have said, do you know what? Because again, we're looking at this from, we saw the Bills game. He got hit, got up, and I was like, concussion, he's done. Like he's done.
For sure.
And so it's like everyone looking at it goes, he's concussed. Or if he's not concussed, he's dazed at the very least. He's not.
That's a good word. That's a good word. That's a good word. He's dazed.
Yeah.
Does that mean he's concussed? Like this is just us.
Yeah.
Does that? Well, I said it's just us. Us and the listeners. But does that mean he's concussed if he's dazed?
You're an MMA fan. I've watched boxing. You've seen someone get punched and the legs wobble, and it's like, oh my days, the fight's gonna stop. Right. And then he gathers his fault, goes on to win it.
Right.
And obviously it's different, but at the same time, if the ref goes, okay, stop, he's concussed. Like, no, like I lost my bearings for a second. Let me gather my thoughts and think. So we was having a discussion where he was dazed at the very least. He goes to get checked, and doctor said, you know what? He's now okay. Should the Dolphins said, you know what? I saw he was dazed. I'm going to ignore your medical advice, which is he's fine. You're the person that I'm going to speak to on this. However, I think I've got to keep him out. And not the funny thing, but I guess the ironic thing is that the Dolphins are being hated on. People are saying Mike McDaniel should lose his job and the Dolphins should lose. People say the Dolphins should lose all their picks next year for listening to a doctor.
That's not their team doctor. Not their team doctor either.
Yeah, that's what people are angry at. It's like, you listen to the doctor, you shouldn't have done that. And it's like, so what? Like, so I was like, time out. Say that again. You're angry because we listen to the doctors. And again, a twisted part of me is like, I get it, because we all sat there and was like, he's not right. And I can understand it, because again, you said on the Tuesday, I wouldn't play him, given what we saw. But that's also, you know, we could beat the Bengals with that. And again, my friend Tom also asked a question, so I'll ask you this question. Tua gets that the first days. Look, we're not going to call it a question. The first days, yeah, he gets that week 15. The Dolphins are out of playoff contention. They've got nothing to play for. Do you think the Dolphins put him back into the game and playing for the last two games?
Bro, my answer is still going to be the same. My answer is going to say, what did the doctor say, bro? This man took a Hippocratic oath. Is that what it's called? The Hippocratic oath? Did y'all call it that?
It sounds about right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He took the Hippocratic oath, bro. Like, his livelihood is on the line. His livelihood, bro. Bro, listen. While we're talking about words like seeing stars and dazed, I got one for you. Equilibrium. You know what your equilibrium is, right?
Yeah.
Now, Kadeem, there are instances, and we're almost off the rails here on a Go Time Dolphins podcast, right? But we're almost off the rails. But so listen, your equilibrium, bro. Are you telling me when your equilibrium gives you a little hiccup and you get a little dizzy, right? At all times that happen, every single time, every instance that happens, you're diagnosed with a concussion? Probably not, right? Because people who have vertigo, their equilibrium goes. You know what vertigo is? Are you familiar with vertigo? All right. So if you have vertigo, your equilibrium goes and it's like, oh, something's going on here. Oh, right. You know what I'm saying? So as a fan, you watch football, bro. Yes, you care about your players and your team and all the other good stuff. But at the same time, you would like to think there are people who know more than you in this area of what we're talking about in the Bills game. He went out. He had wobbly legs. dang, I thought that was a concussion, but maybe to my knowledge, it wasn't. Which I would not be surprised if someone said, hey, nah, actually, that's not a concussion. I'd be like, okay, well, I need to get educated. But I'm going to err on the side of this dude who spent 8+ years to become a neurologist. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm all right, you got it. You got me, bro. You got me. You know what I'm saying? So all that being said, man, I'm gonna plug this in real quick. I got to do this real quick, Kadeem. You know I'm a Christian, right? I think a lot of people listening to this podcast know I'm a Christian. There's a side of me, Kadeem, that says, you know, everybody got to walk through a storm, and this is to a storm and all the other good stuff. And I can't wait till it comes out on the other side. That side of me, I ain't gonna lie. There's that side. But then there's a side of me, Kadeem, because I'm human. And there's a side of me that just want to see Tua win like a couple rings in the next few years, like 2 rings. Put one on one middle finger and one on the other middle finger and say, that's it, I'm out. Kick rocks. Like, bro, I kind of want to see that from this dude, bro. Like, dog, this man gets so much scrutiny, bro, or so much bad luck. I don't know what you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? On one player, I've never seen nothing like it, man. I'm good. Go ahead, bro.
So you're not a wrestling fan. When I say you're not a wrestling fan, I'm talking the past 10 years.
Right. I'm not. That's fair. That's fair.
So Josh Casca, if you're listening, Same Old Dolphin Show, there was a wrestler called Bryan Danielson or Daniel Bryan, depending on what you watched. He had to retire from the WWE due to concussions. Like, doctor was like, you get another concussion, you're done. Like, serious. So he retired from wrestling, but he stays, you know, in WWE. He stays in kind of like a general manager role, all that kind of stuff. Years later, he gets cleared. They're like, you know what? You are good to go again. He goes to the top neurosurgeons, the top people, you know, in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
They say you're good to wrestle again. The WWE doctors say, we are not clearing you. We are not clearing you to wrestle in WWE again. And everyone's kind of like, but why? Because the top guys are saying he's okay. And WWE doctors clearly know what they're talking about. People are kind of saying they're scared that if they clear him and something goes wrong, they're going to get the blame. And he was like, I will leave and go elsewhere. Like, he's like, I know the risks that if I get, like, you know, even though I'm cleared, something might still go wrong, but I've been cleared. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take that on my chest. Like, basically absolving him of any blame. To cut a long story short, eventually he gets cleared by WWE doctors. He's wrestling to this day, all that kind of stuff. To bring it back to Tua and, you know, all that stuff, people are saying, and again, that essentially the rules in the NFL need to change. And it's basically, even if you suffer a suspected concussion, you're out of the game. You're not coming back in. And if anything, they're going to hold you out for another week as well. But then it gets into the whole, no 2 concussions are the same.
No 2.
So
I feel you.
So all of a sudden, you can get 2 players can get concussion the exact same week. One in the, I'm going to say the 6 o'clock game because that's when our first game kicks off. One in the 9 o'clock game. I think it's 1 and 4 for you guys.
Yeah, it's 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the States.
Yeah,
and on the Eastern time zone.
Yeah. Say player A gets concussed in the 1 o'clock game. Player B gets concussed in the 4 o'clock game. However, player A needs a month to recover. Player B needs 2 weeks. You can't have a rule that fits everyone. You just can't. To go even further, Brandon Cooks, as I don't know how many concussions he suffered.
Yeah.
But at some point it was like, dude, you need to stop playing. But he's still going. And again, to bring it back to Tua. And let us know in the comments below on Twitter, whatever it is. How do you feel about this? Because again, my whole thing is the Dolphins medical staff and Mike McDaniel, to me, seem to be being blamed for following doctors' orders. And that's the one
Not
thing.
just doctors, the NFL PA's doctors, Kadeem. You got to put the blame on the right people. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. And the thing is, that guy has now lost his job. And if anything, that I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything like that, but two dudes talking football. It's just say we're down the pub. English term, we're down the pub. This just seems like someone has to get blamed. It's like we don't like how this has gone down, so someone's neck is on the line, and it just so happens to be this guy, to the point where it seems they're going to talk to Tua, and the whole, well, if it was your back, did you get your back examined? It's like, again, at this point, what are we doing? It's in the past few. I'll pass back over to you shortly. In the past few days, we've essentially found out, or we've been told, that even after that Bills knock, Tua was examined every single day up until that Bengals game and passed every single test. So again, I put it to you and the people in the comments. So Mike McDaniel said, you know what? Nah, I'm going to hold him out and play him against the paper planes in 10 days. Is that what the Dolphins should have done?
And then I will come in and say, well, at what point do you start listening to doctors? If we're not going to listen to doctors because of what we think, when do you start listening to them? But listen, Kadeem, you said it, not two concussions are the same. And I'll go back to week 1. T. Higgins was knocked out. Looked like he all right, I'm going to be clear. He was knocked out motionless. Looked like he was dead. Looked like, yo, this man, he's done. He's out of here. Another shadow round him. Played 6 days later. Hunter Renfrow got a concussion in week 2. Still has not returned. To this, Hunter Renfrow has not returned yet. All right, so no concussion, looks the same. Go ahead, Kadeem.
So I'm literally looking now. T. Higgins suffered. So this is someone tweeted this, but it's still the sentiment's still the same. T. Higgins suffered a concussion, because I don't think it was diagnosed, week 1 and missed the rest of the game. Cool. He played just week 2 against the Jets, and I'm watching the clip now. Yeah, he gets banged again. 5 days later.
Yeah.
Bang. Dude,
Yeah.
what are you doing? But not only did he play 5 days later, he didn't miss game 3 and played. So again, T. Higgins, and again, the Twitter doctors, because everyone's a Twitter doctor now. Twitter doctors have said T. Higgins has suffered 2 concussions already this season, but missed no game time apart from the rest of week 1. And again, again, no 2 concussions are the same. So I understand, but the outrage surrounding Tua is something that I guess the Dolphins fans, we have to just accept at the moment, because
Hey, listen, man, I'm gonna wrap up on this concussion thing so we can actually talk some football. But Stephen A. Smith said it's on the teammates. Like Tua playing against the Bengals is on the teammates, and a teammate should have said, "Hey, bro, you had a concussion and you shouldn't play this week. Forget about what the doctors told you. I'm your teammate and I care about you. You shouldn't play this week." Bro, how are you gonna put on his teammates? All right, hold on. There's so much. If had we not ran long already, Kadeem, I would go into that. But then I would have left out Bart Scott, which I love. Can't wait. Bart Scott says ultimately it's on the player to know when he's had a concussion. All right, bro. Bart Scott, you play football. I respect you, dog. But how you gonna tell a player to know when he's had a concussion? Like, it's coming from the most unlikely of sources. Like you were a player, and you're gonna tell me you knew every time you had a concussion? You know what I'm saying? Every time. And after me and Kadeem just sat here and said not all concussions are the same. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Bro, what are we doing? That's why we have doctors. You know what I'm saying? At one time, I told LB, y'all know LB rock with us. I told LB, I said, LB, he likes to wash his car. I prefer to pay to get my car washed, right? And he said, bro, why you pay somebody to get your car washed? You know, why do you pay somebody to wash your car? I said, LB, if I know someone who's better than me at doing something, I'm gonna pay them for their services. They're better than me at washing cars. Like, I'm gonna get them to do it. Bruh, doctors, I would like to think, are better at diagnosing concussions than I am, Kadeem. That's all I'm saying, bro. Let's get to the real football, man. Unless you got something else.
Just more wrestling stuff because wrestling NFL.
Yeah.
No, all good. I'm all good.
Kidding. Since I guess it's a small segue because we still on topic of quarterbacks. Trevor Lawrence had 5 turnovers. 5. I didn't, bro. I should have just said 5 times. Dog had 5 turnovers, bro. 4 fumbles, 1 pick. Week 1, Joe Burrow has 6 turnovers. This is one game. Let me clarify. 5 turnovers in one game. Joe Burrow has 6 turnovers in one game, bro. So when people talk about, Tua pick, Tua long ball, like he shorted him. It was short. He don't got the arm strength. Like, bro, quarterbacks are gonna throw picks, bro. Quarterbacks are gonna turn the ball over, bro. But the day my quarterback throws 5 picks or 5 turnovers or 6 turnovers in a game, that's when I'll be like, hey, we gotta talk. Other than that, y'all don't holler at me about Tua not having the strongest arm after he just displayed one of the best comebacks in the history of football. After he just beat 3 out of the 4 playoff teams of last year. Wait, hold up. Let me clear that up. Ravens was on playoff team last year, were they?
No.
All right, my bad. See, I had to catch myself. But yeah, bro, listen, man. I don't know why dog gets all the smoke, but he gets it. Von Miller 2 days ago said the 2017 Super Bowl team he was on won 9 games by 3 points or less. Good teams find a way to win games, bro. It doesn't matter what it looks like. You won those games. They won 9 games by less than 3 points, bro. Like, this is what it is, bro. It's not luck. It's not a fluke. It is what it is. And it was 7-6 when Tua took that sack against the Bengals. We were still in that game, Kadeem.
I didn't see the Ravens Bills games, but I did see. So I believe Josh Allen turned it, like the Bills were down at 17 points and they came back to win, and everyone was like, "How the Bills capitalized in this game to come back and win?" And well done, Josh Allen. And yet, when Tua comes back down 21 in the fourth quarter, everyone was like, no, it doesn't count." It's like, well, hold on, why doesn't it count? It's hilarious. I think I saw Zach Wilson went something like 10 for 12 and 1 touchdown in the fourth quarter to beat for when the Jets beat someone on Sunday. It was like, what a great performance. It's like, hold on, didn't that what Tua done thing? I think the Bills so far this season have conceded 7 points in the second half. 7 points in the second half. Who was that against?
You said the Bills have conceded 7 points in the second half?
Yeah.
Meaning that can't be right. They've only given up 7 points in the second half?
Yeah, let me double check that. I'm like 99.9% sure that is the stat, but I can double check it because someone said it today.
So you're telling me we only scored 7 points against the Bills in the second half?
The Bills have only allowed 7 points in the second half this season. And you know what? Because when I heard that, I was like, that makes no sense. Like it's definitely Miami. Miami are that team.
Yeah.
But let me double check. I don't know what on my phone for. I can double check. Miami Dolphins, Buffalo Bills, and 21-19. Yeah, Miami scored 7 points in the first quarter, 7 points in the second, none in the third, and 7 in the fourth. And they are the only 7 points Buffalo have conceded in the second half this season.
And Miami was the first team to bring Buffalo to a 3rd and 10 or longer on the season.
Yeah,
as well. Yeah, that's crazy. Academe, and we're about to close, man. But you know marathons, right? Like Tour de France or like running marathons where they run forever, and then there's people like on the side with water. Like, hey, take my water. You know what I'm saying? You're running and you take somebody, you just keep running, right?
Yeah.
The victory lap, I'm gonna take Kadeem when the Dolphins win the Super Bowl within the next year or two. It's gonna be so long, bro. I'm gonna need water breaks, bro. Straight up. The victory lap I'm gonna take when the Dolphins win the Super Bowl is gonna look like a marathon. I'm gonna need water breaks, bro. That's all I'm gonna say, bro. The AFC East is the best division in football right now, and I'm not lying. And if you go look at all the divisions, and the fool's gold division of the AFC West that we thought we were gonna get is trash. It's not trash, but it's not the AFC East. That's all I'm saying, bro. Y'all know what time it is, man. Stay positive, test negative. For Kadeem Simmons, I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time. Already.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time.
So this is probably the last Go Time Dolphins show. I have a confession to make. On Sunday, I was at the Vikings Saints game. I was in the box. It was fun. I was cheering for the Saints. I was with some. I'm going to call them aunties. Some women who flew over from New Orleans. They were so hyped. They were so much fun. I was high-fiving them. I didn't even try and talk like I'm from there, but it was a fun time. So I understand that I have to now revoke my Dolphins membership. I got caught up in the moment. I apologize. I hope you don't hate me too much.
Kadeem, you was moonlighting with Saints fans?
I wore my Dolphins hat the entire time, but I just got hyped. Everyone around us got hyped. So I apologize.
For those who don't know, Kadeem is actually a journalist, and he was probably working the game. You were working the game, right?
No, I was there as a guest for.
You cheated on us, bruh.
Listen, I got free tickets.
Bro, I gave you an out. I thought you were working the game, bro.
If I was working, I wouldn't celebrate a single thing. Like, that's the worst time to celebrate. I was there as a neutral. I didn't care who won, but by the end, I was like, you know what? The Saints should at least get it to overtime. I was celebrating like both touchdowns, but I was basically surrounded by Saints fans. It was pretty cool. I don't know if anyone knows him, but the England captain Harry Kane, he was in this box with me.
Nah, Captain Kane.
Harry Kane. He was in this box.
Why you ain't get a picture?
Do you know what? I can't get him on the show. And
nah, bro, all the pictures I be getting of all the athletes, bro, I don't like taking. Hey, you mind if I get a picture? I don't like doing that. And you was in a box with Harry Kane, and you ain't asking for a picture?
No, I was honestly going to. He was there with his family, all that kind of stuff. And then a few people were like, "Hey, can we get a picture? Harry, can we get a picture?" And no one do his faces like, "I just want to chill." Like, you know what? I've seen him a few times, obviously through work and stuff like that. I like, you know what? I'll let him have his moment, and yeah, he spent most of the time like inside his box.
You know what? Just when I thought there were two of us on this podcast, I seen who's Big Perkins? What's the
Chris
name?
Perkins?
No, man, not Chris Perkins. Perkins from basketball, man.
I thought it was Chris Perkins.
No, man, it's not Chris Perkins.
Oh,
Big Perk, man.
GTX. I haven't all the technical difficulties today. By the way, I have no idea who you're talking about.
Kendrick Perkins.
Oh,
I seen Kendrick Perkins in the he was on the plane that I was on, and because I have a podcast, I'm like, well, I might as well get a picture with Kendrick Perkins so I could share it on the podcast. I just never shared the pic because it was blurry. But now that I know Kadeem's not taking pictures with people, like, and he has a sports podcast, I'm like, dang, I was just going out of my way for no reason. That's pretty selfish of you, Kadeem.
Hold on. I know he's been on this show. Where's your picture with friend of the podcast, Javon Holland?
I got him on the show, Kadeem. I forgot to take a picture with him. I forgot.
I'm like, again, people don't know the stories we've got with players, all that kind of stuff. I'm not even going to air our dirty laundry on here, but I've always been like, you know what? It is what it is. We'll get other moments. For me, I was like, if I see a single former NFL player, I will 100% but England captain Harry Kane is someone who I personally do not care about. And England captain Harry Kane is going to get no more traction to go to Dolphins. If this was like I've been around enough NFL players that I always get a photo with them. Like you've seen me with Lance Kendricks. So people are like, dude, who is that player? Like who was the Raiders tight end a few years ago?
Darren Waller?
Who?
Darren Waller?
No, Jared Cook.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'll go picture with Jared Cook. Picture with Kenny Stills, I think Carlos Dunlap. Just about like if it's NFL players, I'm in the zone, I'm getting photos. Yo, can you give us I'm doing all of it. Soccer players, nah, I don't see the point in getting pictures of soccer players because I see them so often through work and stuff like that. And I'm also similar to you. If you're like if you're with your family as well, I'm not being that dude to stop you. Say, hey, can I get a photo?
We're gonna end it with bringing it back to the Dolphins. Do you know how many sacks the Dolphins got on Joe Burrow?
I'm gonna say one.
One
Jalen
sack,
Phillips.
Kadeem.
Jalen
And
Phillips,
me, you, and DraftKings Jason was on this podcast like, oh, this is it. This is gonna be the sack game. Do you know how many sacks Joe Burrow took before he played the Dolphins?
I'm gonna say about 12 or 13.
15 in 3 weeks. Joe Burrow was on pace to get sacked 85 times this year. And the Dolphins only got to him once. In my opinion, Kadeem, I'm not going to lie to you. Remember that 7-game losing streak? We're wondering like, hey, who's calling the defense? I don't know this for sure, but Josh Boyer, you on the clock, bro. You on the clock.
You know what? I was going to have a discussion about that. And I know we kind of went back and forth on the last episode about this Dolphins defense. And I'll still stick to it and say, and we even said it very briefly, the Dolphins were the first team to put the Bills in a situation where they're like third and long, like 3rd and 10, and they held Josh Allen to 17 points. I'm not saying this is, oh my days, this defense is working. I think Josh Boyer legit has some questions to answer, and we'll ask him on the next show. But right now, I'm still like, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm about a 3 or 4, 10 being the highest. I'm still in a not panic mode. But to anyone who is higher, I can understand it.
But I can apply logic, Kadeem. I'm rational. Like I see we get 3rd down stops, 4th down stops. I see it. Goal line stops. I see it. But there's still something to be said about not sacking a quarterback that was on pace to take 85 sacks on the season. There's still something to be said about giving up 500 yards in 2 games prior. So I'm just saying it's not looking as good as what we thought. But we got a whole nother episode.
Oopsie.